Everyone, thanks for joining. Jeremy Wright here. It is Wednesday, August 26th, a little after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're preparing for Hurricane Laura, which I hear is going to be rolling up this way, and we're anticipating some rain, some much needed rain. It's just been really hot, really dry around here. The summer garden stuff's starting to kind of fade, and my vigor for watering is starting to fade as well. But fortunately, we have fall gardening coming up, and this is going to be kind of fun. I'm not the best fall gardener, mainly because I'm not talented with root veggies because I don't care a lot about them. But you can see here, these were all started right at 2 weeks ago. Radish and carrots are coming up really nicely. They are ready to move. Carrots don't like to be transplanted, so I need to move them pretty quickly. The radishes will do fine. Chives are kind of slow to pop up. I don't see any of them yet. Oregano and what is that, butterfly spinach? These may have actually failed. It just got really, really hot, and I was trying to bottom feed these with water, and it just kind of looks like this side's a little boggy. I might toss those and do some more starts. I've got a lot of other fall veggie starts, mostly in the back, and a few others up here. So let's go get a look just past my yucky little workspace there at some of the stuff that's going on over here. You may have seen, if you watched my previous garden update video, these pots were grown up quite fallow, and now we've got carrots, 3 kinds of lettuce, chives, radish, some beets, just a few beets were planted in here, and arugula. And those are coming up nicely. It's been really warm out here, but we've been trying to protect them pretty well. They are shaded from these much larger guys to the west, so they don't get much direct sun, but still, it's a hot, harsh time of year to have small plantings out. Moving over here, anybody who's involved in the Arkansas gardening groups may have noted that I posted the top of my Roma tomato recently. I've now picked 4 huge grasshoppers from the top of this plant. I'm now about 90% certain they are what was attacking it, and I just removed them, put them in a different place. I didn't actually kill any of them. I tried to kill one but failed and thought that was probably a bad idea and let them go back about their way. Something I've been doing out here, granted, this is not how I would normally tie up tomatoes, but these are my overflow container gardening spaces, and container gardens get a little bit of a different treatment around here. I take a clean paper towel and cut roughly a 1-inch strip across the length of them. The reason I do that is so I can then twist them up and use them as soft ties to stakes. And I've done this to tomatoes, marigold, over here to tomatillo, more tomato, and normally I would use something different. These old tomato cages like this was a long since recycled cage that came from my grandmother's house. My grandmother and grandfather used those 20 years ago probably. But the Romas are doing well, aside from the tops being nipped. Cannas, I've shown several people this summer how canna leaf rollers, which are the larva of the Brazilian brown skipper moth, which has followed canna establishment up into North America. Moving down, this is a pretty little pot. This is mostly a Japanese ground cover. I can't recall the name exactly, but back here, English thyme and chives, some things like that. Purple perilla, aka shiso, purple basil, Genovese basil, and oxalis. My son just told me he's been coming out here and eating the oxalis. And I was going, no, son, I think those are actually poison. You can't do that. And he said, oh, oops, and giggled. He's apparently been eating a lot of my oxalis. This was a big patch, and now it's none. So, whatever. Not really good. Over into this pot. This is a an avocado tree I was given earlier in the year. I think it's several years old, and I'll try to do my best as a chaperone and custodian of this to keep it alive. There's another one of my little tomato plants. I'm not sure. This was a clone off of one of my larger ones. And there's another. And tomatillo, you can see it's flowering very beautifully and very happy. My other tomatillos that are out in the organic garden have kind of petered off for the summer. It just got so hot and dry, they didn't enjoy it much. Over here, this is more basil, snapdragons, and Roma tomato. The snapdragons were planted from mixed seed. I didn't know what color they would be. They just happened to be this really pretty yellow and burgundy, which matches the 4 clocks right beside them, and the porchicala over here, yellow and kind of another pinkish tone. But altogether, I thought that was really cool. They just kind of happened to come out nicely. Now my 4 clocks don't really bloom until dark here in Little Rock, but that's okay. It is raining now, so the storm, the edge of the tropical storm is up and upon us. Hopefully I can get just a little bit of time to share some more things here. These are some of my soil tests. Yes, I have fresh cucumbers growing in a pot in August. They're not designed to produce this year. Like I said, soil test. And that one won. Now this was a known good soil mix. These were other organic garden mixes and potting mixes. I just wanted to see what they would do by themselves without anything else. And through this year, I've learned quite a bit from those. Potting mixes, organic mixes, garden mixes need to be mixed. They need to be amended. They need compost. They need good source of nutrient. You can't just dump a bag into a pot and do much more than a soil test with it, which is what we've done. Now, this was not a chemical soil test. It was a performance-based test. Here's another soil test. And I don't have my notes on me, so I'm sorry. I can't tell you exactly what brands these were. But this is probably 2 or 3 months of growth in each of these pots. And got some good data from it. There are also some little guys that are growing in other things. This was something, these guys just didn't have a place to live. Some 4 o'clocks and spiderwort. A tomato that I pulled out of my garden. This was in the northernmost end. It's quite shaded, and this is my only Golden Jubilee. So I'm really hoping that having moved it into the sun, it was the largest pot that I had left. It's probably only a 3-gallon pot, but I'm hoping it has time yet this year to continue forth. Over here, I thought these guys were mimosas at first. I pulled them up because I didn't want invasive stuff growing where they were, and now I'm kind of happy I got them. Little nitrogen fixing legume plants, I do believe. I need to positively identify them. I've been kind of lazy about that. And looking over to the organic garden, we're now producing tomatoes on this small clone. We're definitely producing tomatoes on this clone as well. But some of the ones that are in ground in the garden, now this one's right at 6 feet tall. This one here's fallen over. And we're to expect, I think, about 50, maybe 60 mile an hour winds tonight. So these guys might be laying over on the ground in the morning. Just a little more of what we've been doing out here. The tomatillos are loaded up. They'll keep going for a while, even though I didn't really water them. I've halfway chopped this tomatillo out to make a little more room down here. Planted some lemon balm and a few other things in the small areas of the garden. There will be a row of radishes and carrots, I believe. Actually, it's not going to be a row. They will be interplanted underneath some of the smaller stuff. That'll give them a little bit of shade from the warm weather and the heat just over a little bit. There's another one of these purple perilla plants, and Actually, I'm going to show you one other thing. I have a green hybridized perilla that I just let these guys stay around. But over here by the rose, this is what Shiso or perilla looks like when it's green. Now this one does have just a little bit of purple on it. It's grown near purple, so it may have some purple ancestors, but largely that's what green and purple look like separately. Some elephant ears and some more stuff. This is now my Mediterranean herb garden down here. It's a very dry, sunny area. It's just a small basil and 4 o'clock plant. It looks like it has a daylily and maybe a little bit of nightshade. Oh, and there's actually tomato growing in there too. That one's probably not going to produce anything. It's just kind of hanging out to be pretty. Over here, more basil. And super cool. Another perilla plant with sage. I think this is Italian oregano, and I'm trying to think if that is a I think it's a sedum plant. Not sure how it got in there. And that little guy's cool. I'll just leave him. Portulaca. Again, I've got several portulacaas and just love them. Absolutely love them. There's another down here, hanging out at the edge of the garden. And there's a small million bells Calibrachoa plant over here. It's there was a bunch of planting done right over here. It looks like it's still a little disturbed, so I'm going to try to free up a little stuff here from it. There. And it's probably a good time to take these back up since we're done with our planting. And can't wait for the rain. Big giant marigolds. These are all American marigolds that are out here. I enjoy the Americans. They get huge. French marigolds are the ones that have nematode properties. They'll really run them off. Some of the nematodes that are, I believe, like root boring will be driven away or discouraged from growing if they are planted near French marigolds. However, mine here, I do not believe these are French marigolds. This is a big, beautiful morning glory plant. I wish you guys could see these as they are open now, or are opening now during the AM hours. And lastly, I'm going to show you just a little bit of this cucamelon plant. Mexican sour gherkin. This was planted around a small old tomato cage, kind of rusty. This was like a $3 or $4 plant. It grew all over the cage, all up marigolds, all up and across a tomatillo plant, and out into the tomato cages next to it. And this is just cool. I like it. And here we've got a Zen kitty. Hey Zen, can you say hi? Okay, a little bit camera shy. Anyway, it is now raining pretty good. My screen's covered in water, so I'm going to be signing off for the day. But thanks for joining, and really looking forward to the rain here with Hurricane Laura, which is, I'm told, to be a Category 4 hurricane just south of us right now.